It's story time. Come on, grab your friends. We'll go to imagination's end. Through song and laugh, there's lots of learning, and the fun never ends. It's story time. Good morning, everybody, and happy Wednesday. I'm Mrs. Allie from the Naples Library, and I'm here to deliver your Storytime snippet of the week. So, this week, we are celebrating a pretty big holiday. Does anybody know what holiday we celebrate tomorrow? Anybody? Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is a pretty... Ooh, this is backwards. 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'll flip us around here. Boop. There we go. Thanksgiving is a pretty big and fancy word for giving thanks. So during Thanksgiving, we celebrate both thanks, things that we're thankful or grateful for, and giving. We like to give, we like to share things with our family, things with our friends, things with our community. So, of course, this week, our themes of the week are both thanks and giving. Isn't that cool, right? And so I've prepared a story about both of those things. This is a really awesome story, and we get to make a delicious, scrumptious soup by the end of it. Isn't that cool? This story is called Stone Soup, and I honestly don't know who the original person who came up with this story is because there are so many variations, but I loosely based mine on this book called Stone Soup by John Muth. It's loosely based on it, so it doesn't follow it exactly. But we have it here at the Naples Library if you'd like to take it out after you watch this really cool snippet. All right, everybody, I'm going to flip myself back around. Boop. There we go. And we're going to start with our story. How does that sound? All right, here we go, everybody. Let's pull you in a little bit closer. So, what do we see here on the whiteboard? Let me just get out of everybody's hair. Oh my goodness, I'm in the way. All right. What do we see here on this whiteboard? We see some mountains. Do you see that these are mountains? Yep. And what do we see here? We see some houses surrounded by a wall. So those houses are a village. We have a village here. Here we have a pathway. And how many people are walking on that pathway? We have 1, 2, 3 people walking on our pathway. And that's how we will start our story. So, 3 brothers were traveling along a mountain road. They talked about cat whiskers, they talked about the color of the sun, and they talked about giving. "What makes one happy?" said the youngest brother to the oldest brother. The oldest and wisest brother, here in the blue, said, "Let's find out." So they climbed through the mountain pass, and they heard the sound of a village below. They heard the bell ringing. Ding, dong, ding, dong, from the village below. What they could not see from way up here in the mountains is that the people in this village had been through many hard times. They'd been through terrible storms. Whoosh, lots of snow and wind. They'd been through floods. Their houses had flooded with water before. They'd been through war. And they'd also gone hungry through different seasons because it's hard to grow anything way up here in the mountains. So because of this, all of the people in the village were super selfish. Nobody trusted their neighbors anymore. The villagers worked hard, but only for themselves. There was a farmer, a teacher, a tailor, a doctor, a carpenter, and many more people in the village. But nobody talked. Nobody interacted. By the time the brothers had reached the village, let me just go ahead and erase this scenery. By the time the brothers had reached the village, everybody inside of the village had gone into their homes. They locked everything up. Here are their homes. We'll do 3, just for the interest of time. Everybody had gone into their homes and nobody was playing in the center of town. Oh no, these people do not know happiness, said the oldest brother. And he went and he knocked on the first door. The first door, nobody answered. And all the lights went out. So he knocked on another door. Nobody answered the second door. So he knocked on the third door. And nobody answered. Oh, man. So all of the brothers agreed that these people did not know happiness. But today, said the oldest brother with a very clever grin, we will show them how to make stone soup. So the 2 younger brothers watched as the oldest brother went around the courtyard and below the trees found sticks. He gathered those sticks and brought them into the center of the courtyard where he began to make a fire. He began to make a fire. Make believe that there's a fire right here because I can't set a fire in the library. And then he took out a pot and he put a pot on top of the fire. This is just a small pot. Then he went to the water well in the village and he put water in the pot over the fire. So the water started to become warm. It started to boil. A brave little girl then came out from the shadows. And the little girl said to the brother, "What are you doing, sir?" And the oldest brother said, "Well, I'm making soup. I'm making what we call stone soup," said the brother. "But what I need to make this soup are 3 stones. Can you help me find those stones?" "Of course I can," said the little girl. And so they walked around the courtyard and they found 3 smooth stones. Can you count with me? We found 1, 2, 3 smooth stones. And we dropped them in the pot of boiling water. Smells delicious, said the oldest man. All right, but this very small pot, I don't think will make enough for all of us. We need a bigger pot, said the oldest man. So the little girl ran back into her home and looked everywhere as her mother was preparing dinner, and she grabbed a hold of the biggest pot she could find, and she started rolling it out the door. And her mom is like, "Hey, what are you doing with that pot? You get back here." And she's like, "There are strangers in the square. They're making stone soup, and they need a bigger pot, or else they can't make enough for everyone." And so her mother said, "Oh, well, stones are pretty easy to come by. I'd like to see how this is done." She let her daughter take the pot, and then the brothers poured all of the water and the 3 stones into that new, bigger pot. So they were out there and they were making a whole bunch of smoke, and all of a sudden, the windows started to open on the houses. people started to become curious about the smoke that was going all over the place. Went right up into their windows. See that? Right up into their windows. So one man comes out and he is very, very curious. And he overheard the older brother saying, you know what this soup should be seasoned with is salt and pepper, but we have none. The man who came out to listen said, I have salt and pepper, and he ran back into his house. And he came out not only with salt and pepper, he came out with other seasonings too. So they added some salt, some pepper, and some extra spices to the soup. Ooh, now it's starting to smell very good. That was great. The last time, though, said the older brother, the last time we had soup stones like these, carrots made the broth nice and sweet. But we don't have any carrots. Carrots, said a woman in the back. I may have a few hiding in my house, but just a few. And so the woman ran home to her house and came back with as many carrots as she could carry, more than they had asked for. I don't have that many carrots, so I'm only putting 2 in. Bloop, bloop, but make believe that there's tons of carrots in there, okay? She put the carrots in, and ooh, the carrots smelled sweet. Would you smell that sweet soup that we're making? Do you think it would be better with onions? Said the youngest brother. Ooh, onions would be delicious, said the farmer, and off he ran and came back with 4 big onions. Can you count the onions with me? Ready? 1 onion in the pot, 2 onions in the pot, 3 onion in the pot, and the biggest for last, 4 onions in the pot. Let's smell. Even better. But if only we had mushrooms. Several villagers licked their lips. A few of them dashed away now and came back with mushrooms, corn, and cabbages. Even more than just the mushrooms. Wow, this soup was really starting to turn into something. Delicious. Yum, yum, yum. And that's when something magical started to happen. As each person in the village opened their heart to give, the next person gave even more. And as this happened, the soup grew richer and richer and more delicious. After some time, villagers began to add everything they could think of. Some of them added sweet potatoes. Some of them added more corn. Hot potatoes. Regular potatoes. Broccoli. Garlic. Peppers. All sorts of things. Everything they could think of, they added to the soup. So much that it was overflowing from the great big pot that they started out with. Delicious. At last, it was ready to eat. All of the villagers took the tables out of their houses and put them together in the middle of the courtyard. So they had one very long table. And they all sat down around the table and had a giant feast. Some of them brought some more salads, some of them brought sides, some people provided a whole bunch of plates, and some of them just provided a lot of laughter. But everybody sat around for the first time since the last time they can remember. They can't even remember the last time they all sat together. And they ate a fantastic feast. And not only that, the joy didn't stop at dinner. After dinner, they continued celebrating. They put on plays, sang songs, danced, laughed, and talked into the night. It was the best night that any of them had had in a very long time. Then they unlocked their doors, gave the brothers beds to sleep in for the night, and everybody went to sleep. In the morning, when the sun came out up over the mountains, I guess my marker's not going to work for that. When the sun came up over the mountains, the brothers woke up and gave thanks to all of the villagers who fed them and housed them the night before. "Thank you," said the villagers, "thank you. With the gifts you have given, we will always have plenty. You have shown us that sharing makes us all richer." "And to think," said the oldest brother, "to be happy is as simple as making stone soup." Right? And they all lived together as a community, happily ever after. And so the moral of the story is that if we all come together and we share what we have, we can create something richer and tastier than we would have been able to all on our own. And then I also have a message that I would love to share with you guys today. It's that I picked this story on purpose. Can you guess why I picked it on purpose? Not just because it's Thanksgiving this week, but also because it's a great review going into the holiday season of the year 2020. I know that it's been the worst year of most of our lives. It's totally unprecedented, and there's nothing that we really could have done to make it go away except for to isolate ourselves from our family, from our friends, from our community. And it super stinks that this year we can't all get together and sit down and have a big, beautiful meal like we really needed to, something that we all could contribute to. We can't do that this year. We can't laugh and love and hug and dance and talk into the night. These are just dreams that we have this year. But next year the feasts will be that much greater. Because like the villagers, we have not been able to sit down and have a meal together in a very long time. So the hugs will feel warmer, the pumpkin pie will taste sweeter, and our crazy uncle stories will be that much sillier when we can get together again. For we have missed each other so much when we haven't been able to gather. Being apart from each other only makes our gathering greater. So when you sit down to Thanksgiving this year with your little family and the closest and most precious of your loved ones, I encourage you to go around the table and say the things that you're thankful for. It might be hard to think of things that you're thankful for this year, but I promise they're all right in front of you. And I'm calling on all of you, from the small to the tall, to the tallest of the tall. If our neighbors need something, it is our duty to share with them, because we're all in this together. So share your carrots, share your onions, share your mushrooms, share your turkey with your neighbors. And if you can't share those things, share a message of hope. Share a message of thanks and of gratitude and of happiness. This is so tough, but we're an amazing community, and we will get through this together, even though we're apart. All right, everybody, I hope that you hug your loved ones extra hard tomorrow, and I hope that your FaceTime Thanksgivings are extra silly. Have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you on Friday for some more awesome books about gratitude and the holiday season. Thanks for coming today. I wish you all a wonderful holiday, and I am so thankful for you. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.